What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the recording. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. If you are, please do leave a like on this video. It helps so much. It helps new people find the channel, helps new people find my videos. So I'm very thankful for that. And if you haven't yet, there's a red subscribe button down below. If you enjoy what I do, please do hit that. It's pretty much the only way you'll find my videos these days. The April numbers are in. That's right. The April numbers are in for Bud Light sales, and it's an absolute drubbing, a blowout. It is brutal. And now the embarrassments get even worse as a new experiment out there where people were offering free Bud Light didn't work, as well as now it appears that executives at Bud Light are going out of their way to perhaps finally name the reason why things are going so poorly. And I guess I can't be surprised one bit. Now, if we look at the stock after today's report, you'll see a couple of interesting things. If this is the 5-day, essentially, you had it was on around $63, $64, and then it really popped up to like $66. That's a big jump. Only to plummet back down to 63, then bounce back up to 64, and now today it looks like more of the same. People are selling off, and that's probably because of the sales numbers and because of what this all looks like. The market itself obviously has a big influence on stocks, but interesting just to watch and enjoy, so to speak. And you see there's some interesting new articles coming out about this. For example, the Daily Wire put out Bud Light's parent company pushes radical gender theory and cozies up to the WEF. Now, if you've heard of the World Economic Forum, you know at least a cursory bit about it, like I do, where they seem to be inserting themselves and often behind a lot of this woke nonsense, like ESG scores and things of that nature. But they're just, I don't think they do anything good. They're all these rich old people scheming away, in my opinion. You see this article, Anheuser-Busch is still scrambling over the Dylan beer can as sales continue to tank, but it's caught between a rock of its customers and a hard place called the GARM, a WEF-backed operation, which was subpoenaed Friday by Representative Jim Jordan and the House Judiciary. One might think Bud Light could apologize and admit that men aren't women, but no matter how much Bud Light and parent company AB InBev might wish to rein in the radicalism, they literally cannot abandon the agenda. They're mired in the World Economic Forum and ESG nonsense. Budweiser claims to be a beer rooted in the heart of America, but in 2008, the Belgian company InBev bought AB for $52 billion, putting a fixture of American culture into a European rival's hands. Per the New York Times, now it's beholden to the elites of the WEF, UN, and EU. Bud Light's suggestion, this is by Michael Knowles, I believe, a Bud Light suggestion that the Dylan endorsement was just some one-time thing would be more believable if InBev didn't openly admit to wanting to ensure their pro-trans diversity, quote, touches upon all functions, including marketing. You can see this quote from their staff. We continuously work to integrate diversity and inclusion into our business strategy and help ensure it touches upon all functions, including supply chain, marketing, and others. I am particularly excited about the growth of our employee resource groups and our colleagues that have opportunities and spaces to voice change. This is all part of the modern activist company. This is very common. Even CD Projekt Red, by the way, has a weirdo world, wokeness, ESG score nonsense stuff. Most of these big companies, especially when they're publicly traded, end up having to bend the knee to these companies to appease investors. We saw this with Tesla, where one of these groups basically said, "Oh, well, they're not, they don't have a good enough impact on the environment," even though like oil and gas companies, right, whatever. And Tesla stock tumbled. AB InBev has embraced a litany of woke initiatives from ESG to diversity, equity, and inclusion, along with a full endorsement of transgenderism. They now foot the bill when employees choose to have surgery on their bodies. InBev has adopted a corporate policy that exalts gender identity and expression to the same level of significance as age and race. InBev not only indoctrinates all their managers with unconscious bias training, it also insists that external suppliers submit to the pro-trans diversity too. InBev isn't surprised by Bud Light's peddling LGBTQ plus propaganda, but you can bet they were surprised that this time customers have said enough. So essentially what this article exposes is that this is part of the plan. It's a feature, not a bug. You can see some of AB's InBev's other subsidiaries go further than Bud Light, funding family-forming benefits to cover depravatives, such as two men buying a woman's eggs, renting out another woman's womb, and intentionally depriving babies of their natural mothers. Hey, by the way, I wonder I'm curious what Daily Wire thinks about Dave Rubin, if that's the case, right? Didn't Dave buy some babies? They seem pretty cozy with him. This is part of the whole right-wing bubble. If you have the right opinions, you're immune from our criticisms. If you're still confused as to why Anheuser-Busch's statement in Dylan can be comprised nothing but babble, consider that AB InBev's openly stated goal of becoming agents of change and a recognized champion of diversity. It seems that AB InBev can no longer rest easy by making a few donations to the GOP, all the while carrying out the WEF's stakeholder capitalism agenda. The radicals in Belgium running InBev and cozying up to the WF are not your friends. They're not even neutral acquaintances. They're advancing a political agenda that is crippling our country. Well, I don't disagree with that. You know, I think a lot of people are getting really sick, of the activist company, the activist organization, the activist, I think eventually once you get big enough, in my mind, there's this cloistered room, or there's this people just show up at your door and they're like, oh yes, and they're all old and they're all super white and powdery and they're like, we need to talk to you about the future of your company's stock. And then after that meeting, suddenly these companies they all have diversity, equity, and inclusion actions and things of that nature. It's oh, sure would be a shame if all the hedge funds stopped investing in you. No, I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just saying what I believe, what I think. I can't prove that, but there sure seems like there's a lot of instances, and he goes on to write, where were these misinformation policies introduced? In the wake of the coup, of course, in collaboration with the far left European Commission and the NAACP. What could go wrong? I won't rob you of, I think this is a good article by Michael, and you should, he should get credit for that. And so you should read it. This is pretty funny too. Clay Travis's free beer experiment, he's from Outkick, I believe, shows people don't want to even be seen with Bud Light. Outkick founder and sports media personality Clay Travis conducted an experiment over the weekend where he offered various cans of free beer at a concert, concluding that drinking Bud Light in public is now taboo. Travis posted several videos of his cooler throughout the night as a weekend experiment at the concert in the Nashville area. The experiment allowed those who passed to pick which beer you want. No one would take a Bud Light all night long. Big issue going forward for Bud Light is many don't even want to be seen with the product. They just pick a different brand. The first video he posted was from 6:45 p.m., showing a cooler full of multiple kinds of beer, including Michelob Ultra, Yuengling, and Bud Light. His second video, towards the end of the night, evening at 10:15 p.m., where the cooler only appeared to have cans of Bud Light remaining, indicating that those who took free beer would only choose the other brands. I'm not a marketing expert, but the only beer left, he said, is Bud Light, adding that that's not ideal, not good for the brand. I mean, this is something that I've been talking about. He writes, also, overall consumption of Bud Light is now down 26%. It's an unmitigated disaster for the brand, and many are avoiding the beer to avoid being mocked for drinking the beer. This is the way, okay? This is the way. You must. This is what leftists do, right? Like, it's like the old is that real fur? And then they, like that kind of thing. It's like that's what the left does, and it's extraordinarily effective. Shaming people works. Now, look, if it's your family or friend and they're apolitical and they don't, you can rib them a little bit. I just think, don't be, you don't have to be a total jerk about it or go over the line, because that's only going to entrench people. The best thing to do is simply to enlighten people and inform them about where their money's going. And you see this article, the April numbers are out. April beer numbers are in, and it's a Bud Light bloodbath. The verdict is in. Green pressures across the board for everyone except Bud Light, and it's just about every single Anheuser-Busch product. According to Beer Business Daily, Anheuser-Busch volumes were down 12%. The entire brand was down 12%. So really good job, everybody out there who's participating in this. That means you are taking the time to make sure whatever you're replacing it with is not Anheuser-Busch, which is how you really stick it to them. According to Beer Business Daily, they're down 12%, led by, of course, Dylan's poster boy, Bud Light, down a staggering 21.4%. That's a big old piece of the pie. April scan numbers are in, and it's not pretty, the site tweeted Monday afternoon. Miller Coors and Yuengling pounds on sinking Bud Light. My goodness, it was a massacre in favor of the folks over at Molson Coors and Yuengling, while Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch continue to take on water. Molson Coors was up 7%, while Miller Lite and Coors Light were in the double digits. How about Yuengling? America's oldest brewer showed everyone what staying power is all about, skyrocketing over 14% last month and sending a subtle meme at Bud Light. You know what's interesting is I never really see Yuengling around. And I do think the name does not, people don't automatically think it's an American beer. It's just the truth of it. But, it's right on the can. And now more people are hearing about Yuengling, so they're making the change. This on top of course, Chicago LGBTQ bars now boycotting Bud Light. So you have people on the left and the right boycotting it. So I would suspect, honestly, May numbers will be down just as much, if not more, as last month. And they're still going to have to address this. I don't think they're going to get to just walk away from all this and just wait people out, because that's clearly not working. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on it before you go. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to have 3-4 more videos for you like I do every day. And we'll talk to you again real soon.